Good afternoon, everyone. I will be talking about nutritional controversies today. This is my first YouTube, and I ask you to be patient with me because it's the first YouTube I record. I am My name is Rami Hanna, and I have a medical degree and also Masters of Science in Nutrition. I taught nutrition, food science, and also taught biology at a variety of colleges and secondary schools in both United States and Canada. When this developed YouTube, I would like to get the support from you by clicking share and like. I would appreciate it, so that YouTube will go to many people I would like to be seen. There are lots of information that are useful and beneficial for you. And I take a high interest in this because I personally struggle with health and I use diet and nutrition in helping me coping and I will probably will go into that in future YouTubes as this time is limited now. So again, after the introduction, and thank you again for being patient with me, I will be moving to the next slide and talk about the nutrients, and then I will move to talk about functional foods. So what are the nutrients that our body needs? Obviously, this YouTube is an introductory. It will not be very detailed. It just covers the basic nutrients that our body needs, which are uh, classified as 6 nutrients outlined here in the box which we must obtain in order to remain in healthy condition and basically survive. I should let you know that I also posted the reference. So if I took this image from a book or from a web, the book which I used to teach, this is a textbook I used to teach from. So this image is from that textbook, and you will see the links attached in every slide. You can go to the link and search for more information. So the nutrients are the following. We have the carbohydrates, and why do we need carbohydrates? Because they provide us glucose. Why? The next comes to fat, also known as lipids. We need fats actually for 2 reasons. Reason number one, they provide essential fatty acids, which are 2, and I don't expect you to memorize them. I have to memorize them, which are linoleic acid and alpha linolenic acid. One is in omega 6 and one is in omega 3. Additionally, we need fat to help us obtain and absorb fat soluble vitamins. Protein is a very complex and important nutrient and in our food, and we require protein because there are 9 amino acids that we cannot make in our bodies, and those amino acids must be obtained in food. Now, out of the 20 amino acids, 11 amino acids can be synthesized from carbohydrate and fat. And I will not go into details that will require a different YouTube or different lecture. But we definitely need protein for that reason. Vitamins, they are organic and they are non-calorie providing. So vitamins are considered micronutrients, and we need them because they are 13 vitamins, essential for life. So are minerals, which are non-organic. They come from Earth, basically, and they obviously obtain them from food. We have 25 minerals and certainly water, which is absolutely the most important nutrients because we cannot survive without water for more than 3 to 4 days. So this is a quick review of what carbohydrates provide, what proteins provide, and what lipids provide. They all provide energies, but they are special. For example, protein, they're important for many functions in our body, such as muscle, plasma, protein, tissue repair, collagen synthesis, hormones. There are lots of benefits of protein. Unfortunately, this will be limited lecture, and we'll talk about it in a different. For lipids, I mentioned to you before, they help carry our fat-soluble vitamins and provide essential fatty acid. They also help in our satiety. Actually, protein and lipids are very important components for our satiety to make us feel well sat. Carbohydrate on others provide glucose. Glucose is important for the brain, very important for the brain. They also carbohydrate. They are essential for fat to be oxidized. In order for fat to be oxidized in the mitochondria, we require glucose. If we don't have adequate glucose, we go into ketone or ketogenesis, which is which would require another topic. And also carbohydrate spare the protein. If you go on a low carb diet, you end up making ketone bodies because your fat will not be able to be oxidized properly, and you will be degrading your protein to make glucose. Like it or not, the brain will get its glucose. So you must have carbohydrate in your diet. For vitamins, we have two different groups of vitamins. We got the water-soluble vitamins, which are B complex. There are about 6 or 7 of them, and vitamin C, which is also an antioxidant, by the way, and the fat-soluble vitamins, which are known as A, D, E, and K. And this is important. If you take those vitamins, which I'm circling now, without fat in your diet, it will not be absorbed. It will basically go wasted in basically out of the body. So that's important to know. They require fat to be absorbed. For the other micronutrients, they are minerals. Minerals are non-calorie. Obviously, they are made of single element, and they are obtained from food, which the animal and the plant that gets the mineral from Earth, from our planet. So we got what we call the major minerals, which are 7, notably calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. Those are known as bone minerals, and they have other functions in the body. And you got the electrolytes, the sodium, the potassium, and chloride, which are very important for the function of the nerve, the muscle, and the heart, and other functions. The sulfate is often, or the sulfur is often found in protein or amino acids. This is probably one. There are two elements here, just to let you know. In Western diet, you will never go deficient with sodium and sulfate. Our diet is quite high in sodium, as we know, especially if you eat outside home, and sulfate if you eat protein, which you should in order to remain healthy. You will get enough sulfur, so don't worry about the deficiency of these minerals. For trace minerals, they are a lot more complex. We just point them out here, and obviously what we mean by trace minerals means minerals that we must obtain by less than 100 milligram per day. 100 milligrams per day. If you take a high dose, it can be poisonous, or they can basically even kill you. For example, iron, zinc, selenium, copper, manganese, iodine, and you got those even some minerals that were once regarded as toxic or poisonous, such as arsenic. It's now known that with very, very limited amount, basically they still don't know the exact dose. It is found in our body and its function. Cobalt is only found in vitamin B12, just for your information. So if you take vitamin B12, cobalt is part of the vitamin. Certainly water, H2O or dihydrogen monoxide, it's often ignored by when we talk about nutrition, but you know what? It is very important to have water, and I'm not going to go into more than detail. I will have more who can help talk about water in a second. So one thing I would like to mention to you, how to obtain the nutrients, how those nutrients is look at the portion size. The portion size is often overlooked by the public. One way to read the portion size is to look at our arm, and I'm showing you here how to clearly see that. So let's take, for example, the fat. We require in our daily intake about 7 to 9 portions of healthy fat, notably healthy fat. Those healthy fats should not exceed half the size of your finger. So basically, a spoon of olive oil or a couple of walnuts, few walnuts, 2 or 3 walnuts, that is considered one portion of fat. Why? Because fat is very high in calorie, higher than protein and carbohydrate. 1 gram of fat provides 9 kilocalories, while protein and carb provide 4. So even though they can be healthy, they can make us gain weight quickly. Now, for the protein and the carbohydrate in general, you can follow this rule. So this is a slice of bread or slice of cracker, or you could also use it to determine the chicken breast or the slice of meat. So the slice of meat could be not bigger than the size of the palm of your hand. The same with the bread, and only one slice. That is considered 2 portions. So if you're going to eat 5 times a day, like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and 2 snacks, you could have a couple of slices of bread per day. You can have a few slices of protein distributed during the day. Now, I am going to go over another slide that is more explainable than this one. This one. So this one is also showing you exactly what we showed before, but it's probably more. I like it more. This one is the sum, which is the size of oil and fat. That's 1 portion. This is the size of protein, and I told you it's about the size of the palm of your hand. That's a chicken breast. This is a piece of rice cake, so that is appropriate for. Now, notice here the slide adds 2 things: fruits and vegetables. For fruits, there is a common mistake. While fruits are very healthy, they can add up sugars in your diet if you eat large quantities of fruits. So if you are watching your carbohydrate, you should follow this guideline. The size of your fruit per portion. So if you're going to eat 5 times a day, every time you should have a size of a kiwi or like 3 or 4 strawberries. That is considered 1 portion of fruit. Certainly, some fruits are higher in sugar than the other. Both kiwi and strawberries are regarded as good ones. So that's why they are listed here. If it's banana, I would say it's half a banana. If you want to watch your sugar intake, half a banana is considered 1 portion. Now, if you are not watching your sugar intake, still you can still have a banana. It's a lot better than having uh, a donut or ice cream or whatever. For the vegetables, the vegetables is really easy. You can go almost as you like. Ad libidom, as they say in science. So that's one exception of which you can fill your heart, fill your plate with vegetables. And this is one way to show it. You can fill your entire your hands with broccoli and notably the dark greens, notably the non-starchy vegetables. Note, if I say potato or starchy vegetables, you have to follow the carbohydrate rule. They are starchy vegetables and they are high in calorie. An important guideline for, so now we talk about the portions. So how do we put them on the table? Now, there is the guideline for the United States and also in Canada is to follow my plate. And I would prefer to use the Harvard plate for, I'll explain to you why. The Harvard plate is more rational. It tells you, it followed the hand portion. So let's say you are having a lunch or a dinner, and that lunch will include, this is the green. Look at how big is the green, about 2/3 to 3/4 of half, at least half of your plate. The fruit is smaller, it's not equal. If you go to my plate, it's equal. No, your portion of your fruit should be smaller than vegetables. For the breads, for the carbohydrate and the protein, they should be equal and divided in two. Now, if you're having a bread, I should stress out that if you want to follow a healthy diet, it should be whole grain bread or high fiber bread, which will be covered in different slides. Protein could be a slice of meat, chicken, fish. It could also be a mix of beans or lentils and legumes. Legumes in here and high quality grains like quinoa or oat or Barley. Water is important, and oils. Now, this is a little bit big. So while they put it in Harvard, remember, don't drink an entire bottle of olive oil. This is a lot of calories. They just in Harvard and other dietary diagrams insist on putting fat there because in traditional my plate, which I don't have the slide here, but you can easily find it, fat is not shown. I would have 1 teaspoon. So if you want to have healthy fat like olive oil, you have 1 teaspoon, tablespoon. That's it. And one thing that is debated, dairy. Dairy is also essential. I mean, not essential, but is regarded as healthy. You can have a glass of milk or slice of cheese. You treat the cheese and the butter like you treat the fat. So if you want a slice of butter or cheese, you have to follow the fat guideline because they often are high in fat. Although it is still regarded as healthy fat in modern science. Another example, egg. Eggs is a great example of healthy fat and healthy protein. You can have 1 or 2 eggs per day. That's fine. And the egg white is classified as protein. The egg yolk is classified as fat. And actually, one egg yolk is about the size of your thumb. So that will fit the bill here. If you are a vegetarian, you again you divide into vegetable and fruit. I remember the Harvard pyramid. Your vegetable should be 3/4 of that, and the fruit is 1/4, and the entire vegetable fruit section will cover about half the plate. If you are vegetarian, obviously, or vegan, you don't eat meat, so you can have a whole grain here, and I repeat, whole grain. So one example is high quality barley or quinoa or cracked wheat, commonly known as burgle or bulgur. And if you are English speaker, if you are, and for Middle East, it's called burgle or burgle. And the pulses, which includes the beans and the legumes, which are very high in protein and also in complex carbohydrate, fiber, and minerals. So they're very good for you. And we can use them here. If you mix grains and legumes, grains and legumes, by the way, you get all the amino acids. You do not need amino acid supplement. This is important to note. So what do we need in our diet? I just put this in the table, and again, I borrow from this book, and I'm going to quickly explain to you that what we have to have adequate enough or enough amount of essential nutrients, which are mentioned before, will be discussed later on in future YouTubes. We should also talk about balance, which means the proportion of nutrients. Again, follow the hand rule. So a balanced diet, you don't have an apple that is the size of, like instead of having a large apple, I would have a small apple or clementine or a kiwi fruit if you want to watch your calorie intake. That's what I mean by balance. The calorie control, this is also go with the balance. Choose food to maintain ideal body weight, and that's important to know that the calorie control, not always, foods that are high in calories can be beneficial for you, like fat. Don't shy away from adding fat. In fact, you must have fat in your diet. Every meal, you must have healthy fat. It helps curb your appetite, slow down the spike of glucose. However, you should follow the first guidelines and watch out the amount of fat by no more than finger size of fat per portion. Moderation, the size portion. So you see all those terms are circled around more or less close concepts. And lastly, variety, which is often ignored by the people, by us. So you want to eat, let's say you like healthy food. You don't necessarily have to have broccoli and fish every day. Well, I love them both. You can have broccoli and tuna one day, or broccoli and salmon. The other, you can have spinach salad and chicken. And one day you have rice, the other day you have quinoa. You get my point. One day you have a kiwi fruit, the other day you have blueberry or strawberry. So make a variety. Don't eat just one single food. No matter how healthy it is, there is no single food that will literally classify as superfood as a food that provides everything. No, we need a variety of foods. So now I'm going to talk about a very important topic, which is called functional food. Functional foods, and I post this image here. It you see a cereal bowl and nuts and blueberry, and I believe there is milk here, or white something, probably milk. So I'll go over this by giving the definition of some functional food first. Functional foods are foods that provide additional health benefits beyond the nutrient value. Remember what we covered before is the nutrient, the six nutrients. But I'm going to show you here. Let's take an example. Before we go into the next line, let me take this. Let's say nuts and seeds are certainly very high in nutrients, especially healthy fat, certain vitamins like vitamin E, certain minerals like magnesium. But other than that, they are considered functional food because they contain fibers, they contain phytosterols, they contain omega-3 fatty acids, especially walnuts, and they're considered also as prebiotics. So that is additional benefit beyond the nutrition of these foods. The same with the oatmeal. Now, the oatmeal is the main source of complex carbohydrates, but with that comes soluble fibers. Fibers in oatmeal are considered the functional part, the functional food part. We don't really absorb fibers. We don't use. What will happen is our bacteria, our gut bacteria, use them, and the type of fibers will determine which bacteria grows and how our good bacteria will benefit. Certainly, oatmeal fibers are good for the bacteria in the colon, in the intestine. They're also good to regulate spike of blood glucose and eliminate cholesterol because they make us empty our colon or cleanse our colon. What about the blueberries? The blueberries are quite interesting. The blueberries are, surprise, are not very high in nutrients. They are not high in vitamin C, unlike kiwi, strawberry, and citrus fruits. They're probably the only mineral they have is potassium. You can get it anywhere. Other than potassium, blueberries are low in traditional nutrients, yet they are still regarded as among the healthiest foods on the planet. Why? Because they are classified as functional food. So all of these dietary or food item here, the only food that is classified as almost pure functional food is blueberries because it is high in antioxidants. One way to determine the functionality of the fruit and the vegetables, how much antioxidants they are, and that will be determined by the color of the fruit and the vegetables, which I will show you next slide. So that is called the color wheel, and you can find it on internet. There are hundreds of images. We can't go into detail, but every color will have separate type of antioxidants or phytochemical. There are antioxidants, there are phytochemicals, and antioxidants in general are grouped into carotenoids, notably the orange and the yellow, flavonoids, or like anthocyanin, are found in dark pink, dark colored, red, dark red. The dark red, like in the berries, are high in flavonoids, while the bright reds, like tomato, are high in carotenoids, like lycopene. You also have the dark greens, which are loaded with a variety of antioxidants, and the whites, such as the garlic and the onion, which have their own functionality. Those Those chemicals here, which are listed, are not vitamins. They are not minerals. You don't die if you don't eat them. So if you don't eat blueberry, if you don't eat garlic every day, you will not die. But if you include blueberry and garlic and a variety you will have likelihood your overall health outcome will be positively affected. That's why we consider it as functional food. They may not be vitamins, but they are good for you. Now, there are certain vitamins that are considered antioxidants, and I'm going to name them: vitamin C, vitamin A, and vitamin E. We'll talk about that in different chapter. There are minerals that are considered antioxidants too, such as selenium, manganese, and zinc. And I will talk about this in separate YouTube. So it could be also a nutrient and an antioxidant at the same time. But not every antioxidant is an essential nutrient. You get them from the color wheel. Here's another example of the color wheel with all the names and all the locations. So you hear the statement in eat your rainbow. The more colorful your plate is, the better it is for your overall health. Functional drinks are another example of functional foods. Those drinks, notably tea, coffee, yerba mate, and wine, are void of vitamins and minerals. Do not make no mistakes. They don't have vitamins, they don't have minerals, they don't have protein. But still, if we have them in controlled amount, such as a cup of tea, coffee in the morning, or maybe two, a cup of tea, one or two glasses of red wine, not necessarily every day, but per week with meal, and certainly dark chocolate, cocoa, and yerba mate. Now, dark chocolate is also rich of certain minerals like manganese and copper, so it does have some nutrients, but its benefits out and it's high in calories. However, the calorie in dark chocolate comes from fat, not from sugar. So if you look at the dark chocolate, table chocolate bar, one is dark chocolate, one is regular milk chocolate. The dark chocolate will have more calories because it's higher in fat, yet it's still more beneficial for you than the milk chocolate. Again, those drinks should be consumed in moderation. One more thing, and very important, if you are under medical condition that tells you to avoid any of those nutrients or foods or drinks, follow the guideline of your health care provider. So certainly if you have liver problem, I would stay away from wine or alcohol. If you are on anticoagulation, blood thinners, I would reduce the amount of dark greens because they are high in vitamin K. And that would be a different topic in the future. And if you are morbidly obese, I would watch out the amount of chocolate, regardless, even the cocoa, because it is high in calorie. Spices and herbs are also considered as functional food because they have their own phytochemicals specific for them. For example, I would name the most powerful spices on the planet. They are garlic. Garlic is regarded both as a vegetable and spice. Turmeric, ginger, pepper. The variety of pepper, you got cayenne pepper, you got black pepper. They both are very high in phytochemicals. And so let me repeat: garlic, turmeric. Did I say ginger? Sorry, I forgot the ginger. You got the black pepper and you got the cayenne pepper. Those are among the highest in phytochemicals. You also have oregano. You have also adaptogens like licorice, like rhodiola, like ginseng, which are often found in health food stores. I would be careful with supplements, please. I'm not advocating to take supplements. If you get those as herbs, I would use them in controlled amount. And certainly I would follow the guideline of uh, whatever the government guideline and ask my healthcare provider before I proceed. So adaptogens are not listed here, but I named them just for your information. Licorice, ginseng, rhodiola, they help regulate stress. And I can make my own speech about stress management and how adaptogens work in regulating that. Fiber-rich foods are also regarded as functional foods. Remember when I said about oat? Oat is not really, it's really high in carbohydrate, but what's good in oat is the non-digestible part of carbohydrate, notably the soluble fiber. The soluble fiber are important in making us more full, in lowering blood cholesterol and blood sugar spikes. And the insoluble fibers that are found in plants such as spinach, kale, and blueberries, that also regulate bowel movement and the microbiome. And generally speaking, both soluble fibers and insoluble fibers help the gut bacteria or the microbiome to grow, the good ones. So if you eat healthy plant-derived diet, you're going to benefit your gut bacteria that are the good part. If you eat junk food, you will unfortunately benefit the bad bacteria, and it's not, which will lead me to the next slide, which is prebiotics and probiotics. I'm about almost to be completed with my speech. The prebiotics are the food that are required for our gut bacteria. Which gut bacteria? The good ones. The probiotics are the bacteria themselves, the live microbes. So you get the prebiotics from fiber-rich diets, plant-derived, high-quality whole grain bread. Make no mistake, if the bread is high-quality whole grain, the bread is good for you. Garlic, onion, celery, uh, pulses, legumes, banana, most fruits and vegetables, apples, apple skin. Apple is high in fiber in the skin, and that helps regulate cholesterol and also help regulate our feed our gut bacteria. Where do we get the bacteria from? We get it from probiotics, which are fermented food. They could be plant derived, like fermented plant and pickles and miso and fermented, let's say, certain legumes like tofu, or you can get it from yogurt and kefir. Kefir. If you are from the Middle East, it's called labneh, Labneh. That's another form. And kefir cheese are quite high. And just for advising, yogurt, all this should be sugar-free, salt, minimum in salt. Basically, if you go to the store, I would get the whole fat, the full fat Greek yogurt. I would avoid the yogurt that is loaded with colors and fat-free or low fat. Why? Because they take the fat and replace it with sugar, and that will defeat the purpose. In fact, a yogurt that is high in sugar will cause your bad bacteria to grow, not the good bacteria. You want healthy, full fat, natural fat yogurt with probiotics to make your good bacteria. Again, one more word, if you take a lot of antibiotic orally, you should be aware that you could be at risk of losing your gut bacteria. So people who take antibiotics should take probiotic supplements and certain vitamins as well, which we'll cover it in a different slide. The other type of functional food are healthy fat, notably omega-3 fatty acids. Now, omega-3 fatty acids are both essential. We can't make it in our diet, so we must have it in our food. But they go beyond their being nutrients. So they are nutrients. They are fat. They are also important for overall health and for their anti-inflammatory property. They help regulate and tone down inflammation. They are also found in certain well, they all found in cell membranes, notably in the brain, in the neuron. The brain, is very high, very loaded with omega-3 fatty acid. Just to let you know, the brain is loaded with another fat which scares people off, cholesterol. Like it or not, your nerves, your neurons, your white matter, the myelin, which helps nerve conductivity, is made of cholesterol. I will be talking about cholesterol in a different slide or different YouTube. Now, I'm not telling you should eat cholesterol abundantly, but I should let you know that all oily fish, such as mackerel and sardines and salmon, are high in cholesterol, yet they are good for you. So I would not avoid high cholesterol foods if they are natural, and that includes the egg. Egg, especially if the egg is an omega-3 enriched. So just to let you know, very important. Walnut is a great source of omega-3, beans, tofu, and flaxseed. Also, chia seed is a great source of omega. The fish stands out because they have the long chain omega-3 fatty acids, which are DHA and EPA. So it's better quality. You can have the fish either as a can or as grilled or baked fish. Canned fish, I would avoid tomato paste, tomato juice. I would get the fish in water or in olive oil. Uh, the nutritional density, which is the last topic. The nutritional density is one controversy that is not fully explained. I will try to explain it in this slide. So let's say we take two breakfasts. One is variety of food. You got whole grain bread. You got although this is not the best breakfast for me, I probably add more vegetables, but still compared to this one, which you have two donuts and a cup of tea, let's compare the energy of these diets. The energy, the calories are about the same. Surprisingly, the donuts will have calories as all this food together. But look at the nutrient. You got almost no nutrients here. I'm not even sure where did the calcium come from. I mean, the donut may have a little bit of milk, but other than that, really, there's no nutrients here. It's considered empty calorie. Well, you can say if you have a glass of milk here somewhere, you get calcium, you get iron. If you have, I would replace the sausage with a better quality meat. Take my advice, or egg. And I would vitamin A. If you have an egg, I'm not sure where the egg is, but vitamin C is in fruits. Vitamin C is in fruits. Certainly, you need vitamin C in the morning. You need vitamin C in the morning because it doesn't get stored. And you got the coffee and the tea, which is regarded as functional food purely. No vitamins, no minerals. So you look at the ratio of the calorie, the nutrients to the calories here and there, and you come up with the definition. The nutritional density is the amount of beneficial nutrients, notably vitamin, protein, minerals, fiber, and healthy fat, compared to calories. So basically, the higher in vitamins, minerals, proteins, healthy fat, and fiber, the more dense the food is. What about simple sugar? Simple sugar is regarded as empty calorie. If the food is just made of simple sugar and the fiber is removed, that is very low nutritional density. An example, white bread. Most candies and even most cereals. Surprise. This is why they put a lot of vitamins in the cereals to mask their low nutritional densities. But if you want my advice, I would go for really, really, really high quality cereal that is made of natural whole grain instead of going for the colored ones and the ones that sugared up and so forth and so on. So Let's go back to the color wheel. I remember I told you I teach at I taught at the colleges, a variety of college, university. I always show my students both as to make them smile and to make them learn the color wheel. Which one is considered nutritionally dense? Which one is considered empty calories? And the answer is clearly obvious. These ones are the nutrients plus the phytochemicals. These ones, yes, they taste good, but there's nothing in them other than sugar and added chemicals, and most likely they will also have trans fat. I'm not saying, just to let you know, do not misunderstand me. I'm not telling you not to eat junk food, but junk food should be restricted to like the tip of the iceberg. Like I would say, let's say, what is your favorite junk food? You select one day per week, one time per week, and you go and eat it, and that's it. But if you bring these two home, if you bring M&M and celery or broccoli and put them next to you, and it's 11 p.m. at night, and you have a storm outside, and you're not feeling well, I guarantee you, including myself, I will start with the M&M, and you will not stop because they're addictive. They're not only bad, not healthy for you, they are addictive. Sugar is known to have addictive property. I will talk about it in future, explain to you why. So don't bring this home, eat it outside, load this up in your fridge. So when you are stressed, you can make a celery or kale salad or whatever and add a tuna or fish or whatever meat or whatever healthy food you want to combine it with. So I'm almost about to be finished concluding this by pausing for a minute and asking two questions to make sure that you get this or not. Which of the following is the most nutritionally dense? If you are watching, you will know it immediately. So I put 5 or 6 different foods: red meat, blueberries, sardines, legumes, kale, and donuts. Question number 2, which one is considered a purely functional food? Red meat, blueberries, the same, basically. Sardines, legumes, kale, and donuts. I will pause for a few seconds and make you think about it, but if you were watching me, if you were listening to me, I'm almost certain you will get to know the answer immediately because I have a kind of maybe the first one is a little bit harder because there are lots of nutritionally dense food. But the second one, I already told you what the answer is. So let's move to the answers. The answer number 1 is the kale. Surprise. The kale is a dark green. It is makes that dark greens are very low in calories. Remember the definition of nutritional densities. The ratio of nutrients to calories. The lower the calories, the more dense the food is. Kale is very, and not just kale, all the dark green, spinach, chard, uh, broccoli, the dark greens, not light green. I'm not talking about lettuce, which is unfortunately the most common used in salads. It's not bad. It's not dense. Doesn't have nutrients other than potassium and water and some fibers. It's not bad for you. It's not nutritious. The dark greens will have lots of nutrients. Example, you get phytochemical. Well, let's stop for a minute. Let's talk about nutrients first. You got the vitamins. You got vitamin A, you got vitamin K, you got vitamin B6, and folic acid. Very important vitamins are found in dark greens. Minerals, you get magnesium. Magnesium is in chlorophyll proper. Magnesium is in chlorophyll. You get some iron. It's not the best source of iron, just to let you know. Animal protein is animal meats are higher in iron than plants. We'll talk about that in future talks. You get some manganese, some copper. Other minerals can also be found in kale and dark greens. And vitamin C, not to forget, vitamin C is also found in kale, which is an antioxidant. We have 2 fat-soluble vitamins here. We got vitamin A and vitamin K. So in order to get the best use of kale and dark greens, put some fat, mix it with fat. In order to get the best use of iron in them, add more vitamin C and add red meat or any meat, fish or chicken, to the kale or the salad, which is what most people do. When I say add fat, add healthy fat. Don't go for the dressings that they sell in burger places. Use olive oil. That's guaranteed. Olive oil is a healthy fat. Or egg yolk. Have an egg yolk. What kale also is high, and dark greens have are high in fibers and they are high in prebiotics and they have some protein in them. Some, not a lot, but they do have some protein in them, and they are loaded with antioxidants and phytochemicals such as lutein, zeaxanthin, which is considered as carotenoid and it's good for your vision, by the way, for your retina, and you got flavonoids and chlorophyll, which is also considered as phytochemicals. And I can go on and on and on. There are lots. And kale is also a cruciferous vegetable related to broccoli and cabbage and Brussels sprout. So it has its own sulfur containing chemicals which are known as anti-cancer property. Anti-cancer property. The two groups of plants that are highest in sulfur, well, might be they smell. Sometimes they can cause unwanted side effect, but they are good for you are the cruciferous plants such as kale and broccoli and cabbage and Brussels sprout, and allium family such as garlic and onion. And obviously we know that they make us smell, but that smell is what literally sends shockwaves to cancer cells in lab, not necessarily in life, but if you do it in experiment in lab, they have anti-cancer property. Now, going to the other foods, the red meats, the sardines, and the legumes are very nutritionally dense, but they contain calories. So if you do the ratio, the nutrients to the calories, the kale will top them all. So red meat, just to confirm with you, is a highly nutritious food. And I talk about red meat, proper, not meat that is mixed with fat. So you should have some red meat, but not necessarily daily or every hour. It is good for us. So fish is higher. Sardines is considered, if you want to put next to kale, I would say the sardine or the fatty fish is next in nutritional density. And then comes the red meat and the legumes. Obviously, the one that is void of nutrients is the donuts, which are empty calories, and I put the definition here again. For question number 2, which of the following is considered properly and purely functional food? It is blueberries. Blueberries don't have any minerals other than maybe a little bit potassium. They're not high in vitamins. If you read the book, or if you, I searched the nutrition and PubMed and NIH and American Dietetic Association. Blueberries are not great source of vitamin C. You should not rely on blueberries for vitamin C. You can have an orange. You can have strawberry. Strawberries are high in vitamin C. But with blueberries and similar fruits that are very dark, they are quite high in anthocyanin and other dark antioxidants known as flavonoids, which are known to have properties. They're not essential for life, you don't have to have them, but they are known to reduce the risk of dementia or improve the likelihood to get dementia, to get heart disease, even to improve inflammation, reduce the risk of arthritis and other old age disease. And by all means, I'm not telling you if you eat blueberries every day, you could still get dementia, you could still get cancer, you could still get arthritis. It could be, we can't say that our food is our pure cure. There are also genetic factors, there are other factors, and there are exceptions. But the overall conclusion is the better, the healthier the foods, the more nutrients and the more phytochemicals and functional food we include in our plate, the more likely that our health will will be better, and we will have a better longevity. Now, doesn't mean that there's no guarantee whatsoever that this will apply 100%, and should not ever consider these foods as a drug or as a guarantee for lifelong uh, disease free. I conclude this slide, but again, I want to thank you for listening to me and for watching. I do have a little bit of an accent. Obviously, I speak three languages. English is not my first. Actually, English is my third. Always, if someone has an accent, know that he speaks another language. And I hope this is positive. And I can help you in translate. I can also make these PowerPoints or these YouTubes available in different languages that I'm fluent with in the future. Again, thank you for listening. If you like the slide, if you want to support, if this is go to the YouTube channel, please share, like, and subscribe and support. I thank you very much, and I will talk to you in the future. I end the talk now.